You may be aware that in Kenya we have 2.5 million orphans.
We need to offer them a father and a mother's love.
For children, if they attain the knowledge you give them, we know we are dealing with the leaders of tomorrow.
We have learned so much. We have seen kids' lives being transformed.
So indeed, we can say we've seen God's grace on Bygrace.
Our journey begins even before marriage. 6 months into our engagement, we came across children that were in need, children from Kibera slums. And so Stephen and I organized to have those children out of the streets, and we rented a small house for them.
After about 4 weeks, the boys disappeared. And so we followed them up and caught up with them in the streets of Nairobi. And we say to the boys, we gave you a place to stay, but why did you run away? And the boys say to us, you know, you gave us food, you gave us a place to sleep, but we needed a family. And so it dawned on us from that point that if we are going to transform the lives of children, whether it's street children or orphans, we need to offer them a father and a mother's love.
So the matter kept running through our minds. How do we intervene in the lives of children? We didn't know what to do with orphaned children, because in the slum areas, that is where you have a lot of people dying because of HIV and AIDS. And we started to think, what do we do with the children after those parents are dead? We figured out the best way is to have a home where now we could have a family that children could relate to. So at that time, we had built our own house and we lived there, and we decided to begin taking on the children.
With the orphans, we seek to give them a good education to break away from the vicious cycle of poverty.
For children, if they attain the knowledge you give them, we know we are dealing with men and women of tomorrow, the leaders of tomorrow. We are building a generation of tomorrow. We know we are building a church of tomorrow.
When they came to us, we received them, and we do to all others, and we have encouraged them by supporting them morally, spiritually, and also giving them an environment of freedom to grow.
You may be aware that in Kenya we have 2.5 million orphans. And so we would want Bygrace to be this organization that can last 100 years and more than and beyond. To be able to do that, we have to think about financial stability so that we can grow the organization to that level.
We have the home, and then we have the schools. So our goal is to run the schools as projects of the home and to create very good standard of education so that parents will be attracted to bring their children to Bygrace. This will be paying parents. As the numbers increase and as parents pay, that will help us eventually to take care of our orphans and even to bring in more orphans.
So we have the three programs that are going on. We have originally begun here, Comoros. Then the second was Gong, where now Stephen and Rosemary are fully in the control and in the management. Then we have the Soweto, who are being housed at Donholm on a rental building. You are dealing with a person who is going to grow many years ahead, and we feel very fulfilled.
We have started different projects. All this is in an attempt to figure out ways we can raise income. And we are not unhappy about experimenting. Sometimes we are realizing that not everything works as we envision, but we are happy to try. So the first one that we did was the water well. At Gong, even up to now, we do not have water provided by the government, and so we bought water at high prices. We do have another level of our community that are not able to pipe water into their homes, so they come and buy using barrels. Overall, we are happy because of that income generating project. The other thing that we have done is farming. Our goal is not to buy any vegetable from anywhere, to just provide through the greenhouse. And then if we have surplus, we can sell and make some income. And the pigs and the cows, through their excretes, we have built what is called a biodigester. Through an aerobic process, it produces biogas, and we use some of that gas to cook some meals. I think green energy is a worldwide thing. We were able to also get a donation to do solar heaters, so that children can be able to do hot showers without having to burn a lot of firewood like we used to do before. We do not have one organization that gives to Bygrace. All our sponsorship program, and that is the main source of our income, is through individual sponsorships. And I would say you cannot go wrong by giving to a child at Bygrace. Now 10 years experience, we can tell you, we have learned so much. We have seen kids' lives being transformed.
Mom Rosemary, she's really a great mother, and she has given me the best that she could at her own level, and I'm so amazed. Together with Dad Stephen, they are such great people, and they have made me realize that there is something in me, there is something greater than what I knew before. As far as now I'm concerned, they are the one that I call my parents right now.
Sometimes when I sit down and think the support Bygrace has given me and the further that I've gone, I shall even cry and just give thanks to God and the vision that He has given to the people of Bygrace, because I never knew like Bygrace could have been there. Dr. Rosemary and Stephen Mbogo, they're just amazing parents we can ever have in this world. They've shown me love like their own children. They're just amazing. I have nothing to say about them, but it's only God who can say.
Take a moment.
When we began Bygrace, we were not beginning an institution. We were simply beginning as a family to intervene, take on needy children. Of course, there are days things would be very challenging. There are days I would come from work and I'm really overwhelmed, thinking, how do we buy the food? How do we meet? Sometimes there were medical needs among the children. How do we meet all these needs? So it would be so overwhelming, stressful. But I remember one day coming to the house and these kids came out running. I hugged them, and all the stress and all the headaches as to how we were going to make ends meet disappeared. And I said, for these kids, I'll still go one more mile. And that's why today we have close to over 100 children at Bygrace. And while not all of them are sponsored, we feed and we take care of all of them, as we also seek to use all the other avenues, whether it's through the animals or growing vegetables, to make ends meet so that we can sustain this family. To the sponsors of Bygrace, this is what I would sincerely want to say to you. We see you as our partner. Rosemary and I, the caregivers, the teachers at Bygrace. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do what we are doing. So we really want to appreciate you and to say, may God bless you. Our desire is that you may have the same fulfillment and satisfaction, that when you give towards these children, you may as well feel excited and fulfilled as we are.
For us to have the privilege of serving the needy children, it is unmerited favor from God.
So indeed, we can say we've seen God's grace on Bygrace in these last 10 years.